Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I just made it right under the wire. I just literally pulled into the Airbnb about 20 minutes ago, let the dogs do their thing, got them water, quickly talked to my very special guest, Melissa, which we'll introduce in a minute. And here we are. So come on in, grab your coffee, grab your water, grab your tea, grab whatever you got. I've got half tea, half lemonade. Whoops, there we go. Because that's what I had in the cooler. Um, so, I got to go shopping and all this other fun
Yeah.
stuff. Yes, see, there you
Water.
go. Let's see who's on. David, welcome to Oregon and Washington. Thank you very much. Dee Dee, hello. Mary Love, so good to see you, my friend. Priscilla, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Guys, don't be shy. Come on in and say hello. I know there's a lot of you on there, so come on in and say hello. Uh, Sarah May from the UK, good to see you. And you guys, let me just tell you, big shout out to Sarah May because there is a 8 hour difference in time. And what she so graciously did was she she plugged in all the rest areas for me with a code like directions, so I knew where I was going. And when I was in a scary area, she was online. I mean, 8 hours of difference makes a difference. So Sarah May, thank you so much for doing that. So much fun. We had such fun. So I appreciate you being my navigational OnStar slash co-pilot navigator. Thank you. Diane, hello. Martin Burke, all the way from Ireland. Thank you so much. Beth Rogers, good to see you. Nan, hello. Thank you. Yes, I made it to Oregon safely. Cool house. The dogs are, I'll show you. The dogs are, I got all the blankets out. There's Harry there, and Willow is, if you could see her, there she is. And they have a big backyard. So super cool about that. Thank you. Yes, I did make it safely. So we're going to stall for 2 more minutes before we introduce Melissa once again. She's not a stranger to our lives. And Jenny, hi, Jenny. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. It's I don't know about you, Melissa, but it's 94 here. 94.
Wow.
I know.
That's crazy. You
It
guys
is.
got Arizona weather. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm in northern Arizona. I'm in Flagstaff, so it's probably what is it, 70s here. It's 73 degrees here right
Very
now.
nice. That's the kind of weather that I do like.
Yeah.
In Idaho, Boise, Idaho, yesterday it was 104.
What is going
104.
on?
104.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. Priscilla said it's 92. Hi,
Oh wow.
Rose. Good to see you. Thank you. Yes, I did. Hello, Kathy. Good to see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, you guys, I'll tell you once again, for those of you that are new, thank you for being new. Thank you for being here. Melissa and I met at Celebrate Your Life. Actually, the very first one in Skamania, the one that I went to, that was April of, no, I'm sorry, that was July of 2019. And then when I won the speaker program, Melissa was there as well in Sedona, and she was taking pictures, and we got to chit chat a little bit. You just made it so comfortable. The whole Celebrate Your Life team, the Scream team they're just amazing. The way that Liz Dawn does her work and everything that she stands for and all the speakers, just so wonderful. And Sunny Dawn Johnson was so gracious. Like when she sat next to me when I was at the big kids table with all the speakers, and I'm like, Bruce Lipton's there. I'm like, hi there. And I've got Anita Marjati next to me, and Sunny's next to me, and she's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, kindergarten at the high school table. So, but it was so cool. And the work that you do, I am just inspired by. I mean, I want to be you when I grow up. You're doing your doctorate in psychology. I think that's awesome. And life coaching, you do the intuitive work as well. You're crafty, you're an author. You've done so much. So much. Why don't you tell people a little bit about you?
Sure. When I hear you describe it that way, I'm like, that's either inspirational or insane. And I don't know which. Sometimes both, maybe. I don't know. But I'm grateful to be here. Thank you for having me back. I love what you create, Elias. It's so awesome. You have a beautiful community. I mean, look at the way people show up to help you on your journey, literally being a GPS and all of it. But it really just speaks to the type of person that you are, that you draw these people in. So I'm grateful to be here. My name's Melissa. I'm an author. I'm a coach. I'm a speaker. When I'm trying to get through school and do all that, I try to be creative to get my mind out of all that analytical, all of that analytical kind of stuff, to give myself a break. And I just really enjoy creating through courses and programs, but also helping others to create their lives more intentionally. So that's where a lot of my work stems from, is opening up to what I recently have been calling the fires and desires within our heart, to really pay attention to that. And it just came to me. It was like this cool hit while I was on the phone with a client. And I think it's true, right? I think we have that within us, but we don't always have the permission to play with those energies or to understand them. And a lot of times we've suppressed them throughout our lives. And my job is to sort of not really awaken that, but to pull it from people, to get it out of them. And whether that's in their marketing and their messaging in a business way, or connecting in a heart way with personal development type of work, I just get really, really excited seeing people show up as they really are, or how they really want to be, and releasing all the stuff that kind of keeps us from doing that. So that's what I love to do.
I love it. I love it. Let's just say hello to people really quick as I go back up. Chloe Jade from the UK. Hello, Chloe. Thank you for joining. So glad that you're here. We have another UK person. We actually have 3 on. That's awesome. Danielle, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Janie, so good to see you, Janie. Next week, let's talk, Janie, you and I. Rachel Elizabeth, hello, my friend. Good to see you. Good to see you. Here is Melissa's website. Thank you, Priscilla. Oops. Come on, guys. Hang on. Wait. Amber. Hey, love you both. Thank you, Amber. Thank you. Dee Dee says, yes, he is very inspired. Oh, thank you, Dee Dee. Thank you so much. Ellen Jane, good to see you. Margie.
Hello.
What? Melissa, Margie does handwriting analysis.
Oh, that is so cool. I've been reading about that, but I don't know much about it. That's cool.
I got to have you back on, Margie. Got to have you back on. Okay, let's just say, I forgot. So people were helping me pack, and somebody packed away my mouse. So, so I'm like,
my brain is like, okay, it's not a real animal totem, but it is still a mouse. So what would that mean?
Right. It's and there's Melissa's Facebook. Guys, if I miss your comments, please forgive me. Megan, hello. Claudette, good to see you. Yes, there you go. Amazing group. Thank you, Amber.
Thank you.
Michelle, good to see you. Hello, Nita. I'm so glad that you're even planes. Yay, we'll do. Awesome, Margie. Love to have you. Let's talk about it in September. Okay, so tonight's talk is enhancing your inner journey. Now, we all have done personal growth. We all have done, you've got your cards read, and maybe you read your own cards. And what I love, both in the shamanic work and psychological work, obviously, we do talk about the shadow side of self and what that means. But I think there's, I want to call it almost like the shadow and warrior, and how we can shift from seeing, yes, you can have the dark night of the soul, but to do that inner journey is to see, I think, and correct me, let me know how you feel, is that inner warrior. How do you just say, okay, like for me, okay, so half of my stuff didn't fit in the pod because of U-Haul. People said, I know, Melissa. And then also somebody, when the wind blew the door open, hit the person's door next to me at the rest area. So now I have a dent, like an obvious bent in my door.
Oh my goodness.
It's been It's been a caca show, but with fun, a fun caca
Right.
show. So I just think that, could we go to these other places? But I think doing this, and I not think, I know doing the inner work, doing the inner journey, how we enhance that is saying, okay, here's what happened. How do we shift it? How do we see the flip side? And I know you do a lot of that in your work.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely resonate. And I love that, the inner warrior, because I do believe we have all of these archetypal patterns and structures, like these living, breathing blueprints that we can tap into for that inner journey to help us to, it might be access that courage that maybe we're not feeling yet, or some other energy or emotion that we really want for the journey we're on. And a lot of times we get pulled into what you were talking about, that other part, like the dark night of the soul. Sometimes it's really hard to discern what we need when we're in an experience. And that's why I like working with those types of energies, warrior or goddess or your inner mystic or whatever it might be. And being able to know that some part of you is already existing that knows how to do that. Like there's some part of you that maybe you just aren't as familiar with, or maybe it's not revealed to you yet, which, by the way, part of our shadow contains our gifts and our hidden talents also. So it's kind of cool. It's not all darkness the way that I used to believe. I thought that's what it was. But learning more about it and discovering it just can be hidden things, right? So for this inner journey, when you're talking about the warrior, it's like you can access parts of self that you don't have to cultivate or call in. It's more of just leaning back within yourself into what already exists and really starting to feel that in the body. If I were that warrior, how would I speak today? How would I hold my body? What thoughts would I have in my mind? How would I approach the situation? You are literally shape shifting without having to know what's going to determine the outcome or how you're going to get through that journey. But you can tap into the essence now, becoming that energy now. And then your body will follow, right? Your brain will create those chemicals and new neural pathways, and you will really start to believe and embody that energy, which therefore then changes that outcome. So I love that you went right to warrior, because I'm like, who doesn't need that right now with this wonky world we've been in? And who doesn't need to feel a little bit safer, right? A little more connected to something. And I just think that's such a beautiful way to present it.
And don't you think, because we talked previous to this, and you were talking about archetypes, do you think that another way of enhancing our inner journey? Well, let me back up a little bit. So you brought up a really good thing about blueprints. On one of my retreats, we do this thing where we do a body map, and I have everybody lay down, and we draw. Each person has their own partner, and they draw the other person's body, and then we talk about what did they receive from their mother and father, and those parents receive from their like, oh my gosh, I'm such a procrastinator. Oh, my dad was a procrastinator. Oh, grandpa was a procrastinator. So we have those written down, and as those are written down, then we let go of those of that old blueprint, and we
Yeah.
create a new body map. And it's an amazing thing. We actually rip up the body map and throw it in the fire and burn it. So we let go of old blueprints. And I have to say, guys, this isn't echoing. I don't have my thingamajiggies in, and it's not echoing. How wonderful is that?
I know, that's why I just took out my earphones. I was like, I think something's going on with my thing here. Let me shut that off. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, I can hear you great. Yeah, and no echo.
I don't hear the echo from you. I don't know if anybody else can hear it though.
I don't hear an echo from you either. So this is
okay.
awesome. Thank you, Claudette. And Rachel says, MKC is the best. I've been in our membership program, and it rocks. Awesome. So blueprint, from blueprint to archetype. Now, does everybody on here know what an archetype is? We talked about warrior, and you can have many different archetypes. So spiritually, when you enhance your journey, you're recognizing that spiritual title, we'll just say spiritual title,
Yep.
within you. So Mary Love does not know what an archetype is. Do you want to explain that?
Sure, sure. So I'll start with there's lots of different theories on archetypes. There's a lot of different ways to present them. I'll just say that I've learned archetypes through the work of Carolyn Mace, but more recently gone back into the work of Carl Jung, who really coined the term archetype and started to work with these different patterns. So there's a set of archetypes that are common for all of us to experience. There's 12 different ones. And so you can actually just Google, Carl Jung archetype, and it'll show you the list and it'll tell you all about them. But just know that how they affect us, there's something we're already living. So for example, when you mentioned mother and father, for example, we already have an innate sense of what mother and father might be. That comes from an archetypal structure, a living, breathing collective, right? It's not one thing. It's more of an experiential type of a thing. Think of it as a little bit of symbolic nature, a little bit of qualities, characteristics, but all of it kind of works together to form what is called an archetype. And so we will have an idea of what mother might be to us. That doesn't mean it's the same for every person, right? Even though sometimes, let's say we say the word mother, we might think nurturing. Some of us might think Mother Earth versus mother as a person, but there's still something there, right? There's still something that your mind automatically goes to. That's that form. Same with father, same with warrior. We don't have to say like, well, I live next door to a warrior to know what that kind of means for us, right? We can just tap into it from what's already there. Just like symbols and symbology, there's things in, if you take mythology, for example, and storytelling and metaphors, all of that is innately built within us, our knowledge of it, but it's all from the collective unconscious. So that's where it really comes from, is the collective unconscious. And then individually, we all tap in unknowingly and knowingly to our psyche, which reveals these constructs. Now, some people in your life will play out an archetype and they have no idea that they're doing it, and it's hilarious. Like, how many of you have a martyr kind of, person in your world that's like, oh, I had to, oh my gosh, I'm just so tired from helping all of these people, and I'm so selfless, and I'm going to tell you all about how I helped all these people, right? Like, we have these people that we can identify who are actually playing out a certain archetype. But then we have the potential for all of them, by the way, but some of us just gravitate towards certain ones. A lot of us that are on this healing journey, by the way, are working with what is called the wounded child. This is the part of self that maybe wasn't resourced or was impacted at a certain time and wasn't able to maybe move forward in the sense of feeling whole and complete on every level. There might have been something that occurred where a part of us holds on. And in my classes and in my trainings, we joke around and we call it the Thanksgiving dinner experience, where you're totally cool, you're all good, you're fine, you feel like yourself, you feel powerful or connected. And here you're dropped into Thanksgiving dinner with all your siblings and your relatives, and you revert back to that 7-year-old child all of a sudden out of nowhere. Like, it just creates this experience of, doesn't matter how smart you are, how wise you are, how accomplished you are, what you've achieved in your life, all of a sudden you're the little kid again. And that's kind of an example of that wounded child, where we all have it, but we may not have certain things about our personality that have become fully resourced. So that's where some of our healing work is. And the other side, the warrior, might be the evolved version of that, right? It might be the wounded child that is now healed, that has learned how to tap into their power, find their voice, understand their purpose, their mission. So they show up in different ways, but usually they'll show up through characteristics, energy. They'll show up as different personality traits. But it's really fun to explore, because you can heal things with archetypes. You can shift things. You can release things by simply just tapping into that energy.
And I think like some people don't know how to tap in.
Right.
Like how, okay, so I'll say that the nurturer. So,
Yep.
but I really want to tap into the creative, the artist. So,
Yep.
how do I do that? I don't have any creative. I'm just using this as an example.
Yeah,
I don't
sure.
have any creative abilities. I don't know anything, or maybe there is the intuitive. Whatever
Yeah.
title you guys want to give yourselves, think about who do you admire, who do you respect, and more importantly, who steps into their work with integrity.
That's
And
right.
if you want a nurturer, if you want to be the nurturer, who do you admire that's a nurturer? Was it grandma? Was it Mrs. Dickinson down the road? Was it, whomever? Or maybe it's, and here's the word that I hate using, and I shouldn't say hate because it's a strong word. Um, I know many people in our field use the word healer. And I always feel that, the individual is doing the healing. The healer is just honing in on holding that energy. So I hate saying healer, but we're just going to use it this way. So if you want to tap into the healer piece, what is that all like? The whole top of my head is like all itchy now. So the healer piece, how do we enhance those pieces that are part of this work? And
Yeah.
I think, you would do what we do. You would, and guys, I'm just saying this, but it's working with somebody, mentoring with somebody, coaching with someone to help move you into the part that is naturally already there, just hidden. It's already within
Right.
you.
Yeah. Or undefined or underdeveloped, or and just something to add to what you said, which is so great when you're talking about that nurturer, like how do we connect with that as an example of how do we work with that? I love choosing someone in your life or your world that embodies those qualities. And if you don't have that, because I want to be mindful to say, like some people, the mother figure may not have been a nurturer, right? Or, and by the way, it can be male as well. So it doesn't have to be a mother to be the nurturer. It could be a father, a grandfather. It could have been a neighbor, a teacher that still has those qualities, because that's the other thing is there's masculine, feminine energy within all of these experiences. But what I've learned to do is help people also connect to Mother Earth. So nurturing energy we can learn to receive that by being held by the earth, leaning against a tree, connecting with water, with the elements. So for just, those of us that might not have that connection to mother or father or something else, you can go with the elements, or you can go to nature so that it starts to feel safe for you to open up to that type of energy. And that's worked really well for some of my clients. Just hand on a tree, right? And breathing, connecting to the body, hand on a tree, learning how to let go, learning how to receive. And it's amazing what nature can teach us and show us how to open and how to release. And so, like you said, Elias, being creative, like who's creative? What does that look like? And what you're going to see is connecting to archetypes means there's action. There's some kind of action. Yeah, we can meditate on them. We can connect and sit in that energy and feel into that, but that's still an action. There's still some type of action or embodiment to take. So when you said the creative, what dropped into my mind was like, just start painting, just start playing with clay. You don't have to be focused on the end result of perfection or some kind of artistic outcome that that's going to be hung on a wall. It's the movement and the embodiment of that energy in a creative force that helps you embody the archetype, not exactly always what you create from that space. Does that make sense to say it that
Oh,
way?
totally. Totally. And I was going to add too, hang on one second. Guys, come here. Come here. They're like, what's this new place? What is it?
Right? We got to check it all out.
We were stuck in a hotel. I don't know what this is. So
They get to
uh,
explore their new world just like you. How cool is that?
I know. I was just like, they're all so chill. And then I hear Willow hopping around and our little, I'm like, I'm not taking off your collar. I know we normally take off collars when we get in the house, but until I know that All is good. Hi, little girl. Um, so here's the other thing that popped into my head while you were talking. Another piece that could be good for enhancing our journey is, and I'm going to use this just because I love the book and it's an old book, but the movie not so great. But think about a fictional um, character that embodies creativity or nurturing. So one of my favorite book series was by Gene Aul, and it was Clan of the Cave Bear, and it was Clan of the Cave Bear, and then I can't even remember right now because my brain is a little mush. But there was about 7 different books, and it was this journey about how this woman was chosen um, outside of her tribe. Her tribe died. This Clan of the Cave Bear came and took her, and then she was marked um, by a mountain lion. I think it's a mountain lion. And she has the scratching. So her animal guide chose her, and all these warrior type stuff that came to her, and she learned to be a medicine woman. And it talks about her journey, and it's fascinating, fascinating, fascinating. Um, Hello, Abby. Thank you. Mary says that is what I'm hoping to do after I move, going outside my comfort zone and take art classes. Yes, 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 yes.
And be accountable in that. Tell a friend, tell Elias, tell someone that you're going to go do that and when you're going to do that, because that'll help you to really take that action too. That's awesome.
And Mary, for you or anybody on here, if you have questions, guys, please ask. But think about it. Enhancing, like Melissa said, if there is someone in your life that doesn't embody that, if there's a fictional character that embodies that and you really related to it, there's something to it. Could be a past life.
That's
So,
true.
so there's so many layers that we can talk about this stuff. Real quick, so we don't forget. Hey, Doris. No worries, no worries. You're still good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What's your favorite part about your enhancing your own personal inner journey? What have you learned about self up to this point?
It never ends. It never ends. But the more that I decide to learn, the more in awe I am of how supported I actually am. If I can stay present enough to not get caught in the anxieties or the stressors or too far into the future of things, I see the synchronicities. I see the intuitive nudges, or I feel them or sense them. I see and sense and tune into that unseen world in such an amazing way that I'm not able to do when my mind is too caught up in the life details. And the more that I trust that, I feel like the more exciting my life is becoming and relaxing at the same time, because there's a trust that starts to come through with that. It's like, okay, maybe I don't know where I'm going or what's happening, but I can trust this unfolding. It's never let me down before. And there's just something about that I'm at this season of my life really learning to embrace, really learning how to be with that. I've really shifted what does success look like and feel like. I don't know if this may or may not connect for some people, but I recently saw the documentary called Roadrunner based on the life of Anthony Bourdain. And he's had a very incredible impact in my life and thinking about success and thinking about what it means, right? And are we happy? Are we fulfilled? And so I've really been sitting with that, and that's been shaping the journey. It's been shaping my decisions. It's shaping the things I say yes to, the things I say no to, and redefining what this feels like it's all about versus this destination. I used to be on the hamster wheel of got to do it this way. It's got to look this way. If I could just make that happen. And I was extremely stressed out and anxious. On the outside, it looked very successful, like I had it all together. But on the inside, it was chaotic and a storm, a shit storm. So I feel like for me right now, this inner journey is just trusting that there is an innate intelligence within me that knows more than my conscious mind does. And can I trust that more? Can I trust that more? Can I allow that more and create more space to have that experience? And that's where I feel like I'm at in life and business right now.
And like I've been telling people, when you say yes to self, the universe says yes back. Somebody told me, hey, Elias, you made your plan of moving to the Pacific Northwest. 3 to 5 years was my game plan. I said that last year.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? So here we are. Here we are. Martin says, "Hi, Kathy Burton." Martin from Ireland says, "Oh my God, you're giving me a language to express some of the great things happening in my life." Isn't she good? She's so good.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And that taking that inner journey, enhancing our inner journey, looking at what we want, and knowing, or trying to know, that we're really not in charge. I was so set. And Melissa, I don't know if you know, and some of you know that are watching, I didn't find a place until like 4 days before the movers came. So not movers, but the pod came. I mean, everything. I'm such a planner, and this has not been like what I thought it would be. Honestly, truly, I'm like, but
Yeah.
moving forward, everything here. I mean, I'm already going to be at the Portland Body, Mind, Spirit Expo. I'm scheduled to be a speaker there. I already got, for those of you in Portland, I already got a gig with New Renaissance Bookstore in Portland. So I'm going to do an online thing with them, and then I'm going to do an in-person thing in September. So, little by little, that part is great. But I'm like, hi, how about now, people? Now is a good thing.
Yeah.
But enhancing that inner journey, the old me would have completely just been like, forget it, I'm not doing it.
Right.
And just tossed it and said, what the hell? I mean, I remember traveling from Chicago to Sterling. It's 2 hours. And I was still a massage therapist at that time, still going back and forth doing massage. And on the way home, I would have to get a double shot chai tea, with a dirty chai with 2 shots of espresso. And still I did this on the way there. I did not have that problem at all on the way here. I was like, okay. I mean, driving 6 hours a day, crazy by myself. And my co-pilot, who would be on and off with me from the UK. So thank you again, Sarah May. Just nuts. But knowing that inner journey, enhancing and saying, there is something here. There is something energetically, there's something here that I need to know. What are you doing? Sorry, hang on. You okay? You're all right. You're okay.
So that's like the metaphor, what you just did. You were literally just saying, I need to know. And you paused to ask, are you okay? Are you okay? We're good. All right. It's almost like, right? It sounds crazy to look at things that way. But when we really can see like the guidance and the support is right in front of our eyes, like it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. How can we trust that?
And that's the part, Melissa and everybody watching, that's the part that is fascinating to me, because I kept in here, this half was saying, you're nuts, Elias. You are just nuts. And then I said even slower, Elias, you're nuts. And then the other half of the brain heard, you got this.
Yep.
And then when I'm like, yeah, but, and I'm like, nope, you got it. I'm like, I know, am I making this up? Please tell me I'm not making this up, because this is really good if I was talking to myself. But, and this goes for everybody. when you let go, and it goes back to that old thing, let go and let God, but when you let go and allow the universe to think for you for your highest good and you trust it, that's the part of enhancing your inner journey. That's the part of saying, I know that there is something better for me, and I have to trust that I'm going to get there. And the journey is the, I will call it like this, the journey is the vacation along the way. It's the what? Hang on, and one more time. What are you guys doing?
It's so perfect.
Now they're comfortable. Now they're comfortable because they're starting to chase each other inside. Is what they
Well, they're
used to.
playing, right? That's what you're talking about. Play. They're playing. Look how it shifted the energy. Oh,
And he's like, I'm done. And she's like, nope, we're still playing. Let's see if you can see her. There you go. Okay. I'm sorry. I know we're doing an interview, but it's like, what?
so
Squirrel. So,
that's part of it all, though, right? Like it's part of it
Totally.
all. Seriously.
Totally. Let's see. God led you down the path that was meant to be. If you listen to your intuition, I truly believe that. I would. I too. Oh, and you guys, on Friday, hopefully on Friday, I'll have something special to show you guys on Friday. So stay tuned. You did it, and I'm so proud of you. Thank you. Hello, Kathleen. Good to see you. Nita says, sharing this journey with you is quite the lesson for those of us following along.
That's right.
Yeah, and guys, I mean, that's why we do the work that we do. That's why, I don't hold anything back. I don't really care anymore. I've learned at 50, I learned not to give a shit. Oops, I said caca. I learned not to give a caca at 50. And it's like, you know what? Who you see is what you get. And that's why, I go back to Liz and Sunny. They both said, who you see in the bathroom is who you see on stage, is who you see, in the grocery store. I think when we're open and we're open to our journey, I think that's when the magic happens.
Absolutely. Have you, I recently read something I thought was pretty brilliant. I'll have to get the book. I don't remember the book title, but there's one section in this book where they're talking about quantum mechanics and very specifically about how these cells and how the energy reorganizes itself based on what we see and what we perceive, and how when we look at potentials, let's say, there's always all of the potentials that are already existing at the same time. This is what science is starting to prove and show. Meaning, if you have a thought in your mind of, let's say, I want to move to Portland, Elias's thought and journey, it means that as you're having that thought, the potentials are already there, which means I'm going to get there. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. All the things. What we don't always realize is these realities are already existing, kind of like we talked about blueprints before. And what you do, though, to bring that reality to life is what Elias did, which was he got in the car. He got in the car and started going and had the things that he started planning along the way, not just in the car, but beforehand as well. Of course, you were working on things and doing your research. But what you also did, which is really cool, is you collapsed time. Your 3 to 5 year goal or intention was what set everything in motion. But then your energy and your action collapsed time down to a year. And we do this all the time. It's why we hire coaches and teachers and leaders, or whatever you want to call them, whatever we all do. It's why you hire people like us and others, is because we might have taken 15 years to figure something out that you figure out in listening to a 30-minute talk. You collapse those 15 years into 30 minutes and you get it. You get the information and now you just go. But the thing that I feel is like changing when we talk about this inner journey and what supports us along the way is people like you, Elias, who are showing us that leadership today is not about being 15 years ahead necessarily anymore. Of course, we have that too, stories, wisdom, things we've accomplished, achieved. But it's literally sometimes you're a day ahead of what somebody needs to hear who's going to take the trip and get in the car tomorrow. But because you are there today, you collapse time around their doubt, their disbelief, and delaying that journey for them so that they can get there tomorrow. So it's just amazing to think about how when we're vulnerable and we share our inner journey as we're living it, we really are giving people permission to choose things that resonate, that work. And so people are watching you and going, oh my gosh, like it's like cheerleading, like, oh my God, I hope he makes it. Here's his destination. Here he is watching you get across the country. But it's so much greater than that, because we know there's a dream attached to this, right? There's an intention attached to this. And I truly believe on a fundamental level, we all want everyone to win. We want everyone to have it all. We really do. It feels so good to see somebody succeed or get what they want, and to be reminded of, like, if he can do that, what can I do also? And so I want to say that, because I think it's so awesome of you to not hold back on something that you could have easily talked to some close friends about and not showcased publicly. And all these people would have missed that journey and what it's awakening within them, to collapse time around their intentions, their goals, their dreams, and to realize it doesn't have to take 20 years for me to accomplish something. Now, if it does, that's fine. That's great. But maybe in this idea that it already exists, maybe I can start tapping into that energy sooner and living from that place sooner. And I wonder what would happen then. So I just see you as like your magical journey, really opening people's hearts and connecting them to their own desires, reminding them, like, what do you want to create? What do you want to do? And here's what I'm doing. And I'm bringing you along for the ride to show you what's possible. And it's just so amazing. It's really cool.
Thank you. And just so everybody knows, it's not, it doesn't, just because it's not smooth, this enhancing our inner journey is about, okay, well, guess what? Half of your stuff didn't fit into a pod, and you had to buy another pod. And look, you were at the rest area and the wind blew and your door went like this and knocked into the other person's door. And you're like, oh, did I hurt their car? Oh, no, good. Thank God. Oh, but look at the dent in your car. Okay. Oh, well, what are you going to do about it? You just have to move through it. I think honestly, truly, how many of you guys want something happens, you're like, forget it, can't do it. That doesn't enhance the inner journey. The enhancement is the challenge that comes along to say, how bad do you want this? Because if you can manage this, you can manage anything. And what I've learned, I don't know if we ever talked about this, Melissa. What I learned was, the day that my mom died, and the next day when I had to tell my dad at the nursing home, and then the following day, I got a phone call that said, Mr. Patras, and I'm like, I'm sorry he's not here, meaning my dad. No, this is Warren Bar Nursing Home. Your father's bleeding internally. You have to come to the hospital. So I had to leave my dad in ICU the day of my mom's wake at 1 o'clock to get to her wake by 3. And there I am standing at the casket by myself. Everyone's like, where's your dad? Where's your dad? Where's your dad? Where's your dad? 3 days after the funeral, my dad was like up and awake and back in the nursing home. It's like the universe is like, no, he can't handle it at 91. You can. So if I could live that day and think that I've lost my best friend, my cheerleader, they both were, but my mom, the logical one, the logical one of the two, because my dad's like, oh, do whatever you want, the logical one of the two, and then thinking that my dad's going to die too. I mean, that if I could stand up and know that strength, that was my first, I believe, my first enhancing my inner journey is saying, yes, I can.
Yeah.
And this goes for everybody. Yes, you can.
What qualities do you think, like that day, I can't imagine what that was like for you. But you obviously had to draw on something else, right? Something else within you to get through that. Do you remember, was there something you said to yourself? Like, I think we're all motivated a little differently, but was there Was there something you did to help you get through? Because I feel like that's really powerful for people to realize, like, these moments of vulnerability, and you tapped into something you already had, but really had to find it to get through that. Does that make sense?
It does. And I kept on saying that I have to represent the family. I have
Mm.
to represent my mom and dad. And then I flipped it and I said, if my mom was here and it was shifted, if my dad passed and my mom was here, how would she handle it? How would she want me to handle it? And my mom showed up. My mom always showed up with dignity and grace. And she was truly, I tell people, she was really like a Jackie O. She was really that prim and proper, aristocratic. She would talk like this. And she was 5 feet tall. And she would talk like this. So you had to lean in to listen. She was smart because sometimes she'd pick up the phone and then use this. Hello? Oh, hi. Hold on. Yes. Okay. So good to meet with you. Hang up, right? And I told you another thing. Why do you do that? I'm like, hi, my mother's Sybil. I was like,
That's awesome.
the sweetest woman ever. The sweetest one. And that was the strength. The strength was coming from her. The strength was, what would she do in this situation? How would she handle it? How would she want me to handle it? And I had to show up with dignity, with grace, with integrity, with poise. And at 35, I had to grow up, because the second part of the inner journey was when my dad died. And I had to say, okay, now they're both gone. And I'm like, why did you leave me? And I got mad at my ex at that time, and went to the cemetery like any good Greek would do. Go to the cemetery and bring food and eat, and right, and eat, and I literally beat my hands on their grave, and I'm like, why did you leave me? And what I heard was, so you could grow up.
Mm.
And that took 10 years, Melissa.
Wow.
10 years of going within. And that's why the work that you do, and I've watched your lives, and you bring this finesse to all you do. And I'm proud of you and all that you do, because the way that you carry yourself, and I'm making a big compliment here, and I mean this from my heart. When I watch you and the way that you carry yourself, there are small qualities, and please know I don't have like putting my mom figure on you, but I see you carry yourself like the women in my family would have.
Mm.
You walked into CYL, you took pictures, you said hello to people. You were truly like Miss Congeniality. You were really like, but with grace. And that is a strength of yours.
Thank you. Thank you. That means the world to me. That means the world to me. So beautiful.
Does anybody have any questions for Melissa? You guys, like, anything about what enhances your inner journey? How can we? We guys told you a little bit about us, but how do you go to the next step? I have some suggestions, and so does Melissa. But how do you go to the next step? So let me see what you guys are saying, first of all. Let's see. Doris says, I've learned if you don't try, you'll never know. And I don't want the regret of if I only had tried. Yep, exactly. Hello, Colin. Good to see you. This too shall pass. Yep. Thank you. I needed this message. Awesome. Thank you for sharing their lives. You're welcome. You are welcome. Question, guys. Questions, comments, concerns. What do you got coming up, Melissa? Anything?
All sorts of stuff. All sorts of stuff. Right now, I've been spending a lot of time in school. A lot of time in school. But in between, working with clients, mentoring, coaching, a couple classes on the horizon. I don't have them scheduled just yet, but taking some of these things we just talked about. And like when you talk about inner journey, by the way, something we're working on in school is what's called our personal myth. And it's some of the work of Carl Jung also. And deciding what is our personal myth? What does that mean? What does that journey look like? What does it feel like? What are the different aspects of it? Looking at the shadow and the light and all these pieces. And so putting together a course that will allow you to tap into different archetypal structures and patterns to work with those different energies for different intents and purposes. And then we have a really amazing thing coming up too. I can't reveal what it is just yet. I'm waiting for all the branding to come back, and I can't wait. But it's something I used to do. The old name, I'll tell you what it is. The old name used to be the Prosperity Game. And it was incredible. We would have hundreds of people join us. It's an absolutely free experience to participate in. And we've renamed it and rebranded it, because the other thing we're building in is the idea of this masculine and feminine balance of effort and receiving. And so the Prosperity Game was this 13-day journey where every day you would have a certain dollar amount you had to receive and you had to spend. It was energy money. It wasn't necessarily real money in your bank account, but it became real from people really playing the game. We had miracles happen in this group of people learning how to receive, unexpected money coming in, compliments, relationships healed, amazing stuff. So we used the Prosperity Game because it was catchy, and it was something that honestly just drew people in, because everybody was trying to really figure out, well, how do I become more prosperous? But what it did is it came back to the inner journey of who am I? How do I feel on a daily basis? Where's my energy going? And how can we balance? When I say masculine, don't think male, but think like, okay, sun and moon, right? Yin and yang. So the sun is sort of like the face, the energy we put out into the world, whereas the moon is very mysterious, very deep, profound, inner feminine energy, right? So when we take these principles, masculine, feminine, and we apply them to money and energy, there's a time when we put in effort, masculine, and there's a time when we learn how to let go, detach, and go into feminine. And when we don't know how to do these things, we go into the shadow side, which is grasping, trying to control, throwing things out there in hopes that people will sign up or buy it. But when we tap into the feminine aspect, we start to connect to flow and rhythm, and we start calling it in. Now we're tapped into power, and both are powerful, masculine and feminine. There isn't one better than another. It's really just finding balance. But we learn how to receive with less effort, but more alignment. And so I'm really excited about this program. It's reworking the Prosperity Game. And by the way, day 1 is $250. Day 13 is $1 million. So what we're doing is helping you tune into what does it feel like energetically to be a millionaire on that 13th day. Talk about collapsing time, right? 2 weeks and here we are, millionaires. But how do we feel into that energy? What does that dollar amount represent? Because it's not about money meaning something about your value or your importance in the world. It has nothing to do with that. It's a mirror for us. But if we can understand what the mirror is trying to show us, we can tap more deeply into what we're meant to create here, the things we're meant to fulfill, to experience, to receive. And so we take a 13-day journey together and we unwind and uncover while we're also learning how to receive. And so it's got a new name, a new branding. Can't tell you yet, but it's going to be really awesome. But if you go to my website and sign up for our mailing list, we'll let you know. We'll let you know when it all comes out. But I can't wait, because I've done this about 3 years now. This will be our 4th year doing this. And it's just, actually, you participated last year, Elias, in the Prosperity Game. You were one of our beautiful supporters, and you had donated a beautiful gift to the community. And it's a powerful journey. And it's really you getting in touch with, you said the word grace, but power and grace from such a different level, right? Because my belief is that the more people that are aligned, connected, and in their heart center, the more of those type of people that have more of the wealth in this world and more of the money in this world, will weave that into more powerful experiences, beyond just paying our bills and having our comforts, really contributing to this planet, contributing to the people, contributing to the whole. And so that's one of my intentions, is also to help more people make a lot of money so they can expand who they are in the world. You don't need the money to make a difference, but the more people that do have it in the right hands can contribute to really amazing changes happening on this planet too. So that's one of my personal missions.
And they just go to your website here and then sign up for your email list, and you'll let them know.
That's right.
Awesome. You are such a joy. I hope you come back and just, in a couple of months we'll check back in, and it's just, and I know we haven't known each other that long, but you're truly soul family. It's just so comfortable chatting with you. I want to also say, guys, that please check out Melissa for coaching and any one-on-one sessions that you need. What I've got coming up, you guys have heard me say it, but the intuitive mindset program. So if you're wanting to tap into your intuition and you're feeling stuck, it's because those things that no longer serve you, the old ways of talking to self, is what's blocking. So we're going to do 20 people, and it is a combination of coaching and intuitive tutoring for a group of 20. We meet every Thursday starting September 2nd. Thank you, Priscilla. And it's all here. And we'll meet about 90 minutes each week. Y'all know that I can talk, so it might be 2 hours. And honestly, truly, guys, if you want the payment plan, we're going to start the payment plan in August. When you look at it, it's $86 a week, and it's for 12 weeks. Really,
that's incredible.
Break it down that way. And I'm super excited about it. I've got some other things going on. I will tell you on Friday. On Friday, guys, stay tuned. We'll have a giveaway on Friday. We're going to have a giveaway today, but so much as I've been driving for 6.5 hours. So, and I didn't want to not end the month. And I'm so glad we ended the month with you, Melissa, because enhancing your inner journey is so important. I can't wait for your book to come out.
I know. I have to. Oh my gosh. I'm like rewriting this book now because everything in my world changed. And what I originally wrote, it doesn't fit anymore. Let's just say it's not who I am anymore. And so I'm like revisiting this and going, oh boy, here we go. So more to come, but it'll be out eventually.
Isn't that the funny thing? Because when I was originally, my book from the University of Our Hearts, I was going to write a workbook based on that book. Well, when the computer went down, all my notes gone. And then when I decided to go to Skamania in April and just like do my own self retreat and hang out at the lodge, and so much fun. I mean, and I took everybody along with me and walked around with the phone and showed everybody where the zip line was and the tree houses. I just love that place. Anyway, I sat in my favorite word, Adirondack chair.
That's my favorite spot.
Chairs. Yes. Do you know now that they have marshmallows with chocolate inside of them?
I did not know that. Yes, I knew they had fire pit, but I didn't know they had marshmallows with chocolate inside.
Yeah, not there, but at the store.
Oh, in general. Got you. Oh, at the store. Well, I'm going to the store then.
Double s'mores. Awesome. When I sat in the Adirondack chair, the new title of the new book came. Changing the FU into thank you. Flipping the script and seeing the gift.
That's so good. That's so good.
I'm so excited. I already got the domain name ready. I already got the book cover designed in my head, and someone's doing it. And it's just a clue, guys. It's going to be the colors of the website, all the colors of the website. So pay attention. It's going to be super, super cool. And then I figured one of these days when I get back to be a speaker on the CYL thing, I'm going to have these little gifts that looks out like on the book be on each chair. I was like, okay, I see this and I see this and I see this.
The
So
whole thing. I
yeah.
love that.
Can you hold on for a moment?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Guys, I want to thank you all for being here. Melissa, again, thank you.
Oh,
We are here to connect. And when we connect, we educate one another. And when we educate one another, we grow. Melissa, thank you. And
I
guys,
love
from
you.
me to yours, thank you so much. Melissa, hold that thought for a moment. And I will see you guys on Friday. Here we go. 5 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Mountain, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. And this is so easier that way. And I will talk to you guys soon. Have a beautiful night. Thank you for watching. Spread the word. Remember, check out Melissa's website, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody. Have a beautiful night.